If you're looking for some premium shocks to transform the feel of your 2015 or newer four-wheel drive F-150, this Bilstein B8 8100 series rear shock for 0 to a ½ inch uplift is a great contender. Now, I do want to mention that this does not fit with the Raptor model, so just keep that in mind. But if you do not have a Raptor and you're dealing with blown shocks or just don't like the factory ride and are looking for consistent performance and responsiveness out of your truck for whatever off-road or even on-road adventure that you're taking with it, this shock will do it. Now, this is good for tough driving scenarios, whether you are taking trails at higher speeds or towing often and need the extra strength and reliability out of a shock for your truck and don't mind paying the extra couple bucks in order to do it. Now, this shock offers a good amount of features compared to other entry-level choices, two of the main features being the increase in size as well as the piggyback reservoir, both significantly helping with heat dissipation and improved cooling, lowering the operating pressure for a less harsh feel out of the gas-charged build here and a more consistent feel as a result of it. Now, that makes it, again, good for those tough driving scenarios with the ability to be worked much longer and harder than the average shock, while also maintaining its feel and its lifespan, avoiding cavitation or aeration in the shock that induces shock fade, which is that squishy feeling that you get and what you may be experiencing with your factory or your current setup. Now, these shocks also have velocity sensitive valving that is specific to the F-150, meaning that these shocks are able to adapt very quickly to terrain while softening the feel under high shaft speed scenarios like bumps at high speeds and bottoming out for a comfortable and cushioned feel. Now, on the other hand, they are stiffer under low shaft speed for more control, for example, reducing body roll when it comes to cornering or highway driving. This shock is able to adapt and outlast the abuse that you're able to give it. Overall, this shock is able to adapt and outlast the abuse that you're willing to give it. Now, as I mentioned, this is bigger than the average shock and even other lower Bilstein models, coming in at 60 millimeters in the outer diameter or 2.65 inches, which is part of the reason that these are able to cool quicker and they contain a high oil capacity to help with that heat over longer time frames. Now, the design is also a monotube design, separating the oil from the gas in the system, which helps reduce that shock fade over time. And the piggyback reservoir here is directly mounted onto the shock and helps with better oil flow compared to a line, which is more remote. Now, when it comes to the actual materials, the body and mounting points are made of a durable aluminum construction with an Evo gray finish on the body here and a black finish on the mounting points to protect from corrosion over time and also give more of a badass look to this shock. The shaft is also hard chromed, resisting any nicks and any damage for wherever you're taking your truck or how hard you're abusing it. And with being tough, these are also a direct fit options with the bushings and sleeves pre-pressed and ready for install. Now, as I said, this is at a more premium price point, coming in at around $700 for one shock. As you can see, it does come with one out of the box, so you will be looking at about double that price point for two if you're looking to match the rear. Now, comparing these to the rest of the shocks in the category, these bring a lot to the table for the more serious off-roader or serious driver that needs as much shock durability that they can get with a larger build, that piggyback reservoir here, and the specifically tuned valving. Now, I think if you know you need more out of your application for your truck and you're looking for some of the specifics out of a shock that this one has, this is a great option to consider. Install is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and really should only take about an hour in order to install it, and you'll be looking at 2 hours if you end up replacing both rear shocks. However, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers here. They're going to show you a step-by-step breakdown on how you can bolt this up to your F-150 at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a 15mm socket, 18mm wrench, a pry bar, and also not shown here is a jack and jack stands or a pole jack. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a rear shock on our F-150, so let's get started. Alright, so we've got the truck in the air, we've got the wheels off, and we do have a pole jack underneath our differential just for extra support. And we're going to remove our factory shock first, so we need to remove both bolts holding it on. So we're going to use a 15mm socket on our impact and an 18mm wrench to remove this lower bolt first. So we'll pull that out, and you want to get the shock out of its mounting cradle. Next, we can remove the top bolt. Now this one has a flag nut on the back, so you don't need a wrench, just your 15 mil socket. You want to support your shock, loosen this up. And we'll support our shock, move our bolt, and pull our shock out. Now once you have this side out, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can begin installing our new shocks. So we're going to get our upper mount in position. We're going to reuse that factory 15 millimeter bolt. So we've got our mount lined up. Get our bolt through. We can let that hang. We're going to grab that flag nut and get that started. We're going to leave that loose for the time being. So now we'll get our lower mounting point in position. Now these are a little bit stiff, so you may need a pry bar to help you compress this enough to get it up and mounted. So we'll slide this up, get our factory bolt back in, and we'll get our factory 18 millimeter nut back into place. Now we can come in and tighten down both of our mounting bolts. So we'll start with our top one. Again, we're going to grab our 15 mil socket on our impact. Then we can come in and tighten down our bottom one as well. So we've got our 18 millimeter wrench and our 15 mil socket. Now once you've got this side on, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Bilstein B8 8100 series rear shock for a 0 to a ½ inch lift for your 15 to current 4-wheel drive F-150 excluding the Raptor. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.